Prime Minister, quickly moving on to the asylum seeker debate. There's been a lot of criticism about your government for so-called going to ground, for cancelling press conferences, not talking openly about what's going on with the asylum seeker crisis. Don't you think the public has the right to know about what's going on?
Well, the public want the boats stopped, and that's really what they want. And that's my determination, to stop the boats. And if stopping the boats means being criticised because I'm not giving information that would be of use to people smugglers, so be it. In the end, we are in a fierce contest with these people smugglers, and if we were at war, we wouldn't be giving out information that is of use to the enemy just because we might have an idle curiosity about it ourselves. And in these situations, I am not going to release information which will be exploited by people smugglers to the peril of their customers and to the tremendous disadvantage of our country.
The disadvantage for our country, though, partly you've got to understand, is there's a perception that there is no transparency, and without transparency, we, the public, aren't able to ask for accountability. You understand that that's where there's a perception problem?
But I'll be accountable to the Australian public at the next election. My ministers will be accountable to the Australian public at the next election. They expect us to stop the boats, and that's what we're doing. We are stopping the boats. We haven't won. There's a long way to go yet, but it's several weeks now since a boat has successfully arrived in Australia, and I want to keep it that way.
Are you happy with the conditions on the detention centres, in the detention centres? Are you happy with the conditions?
I am confident that we are running these centres effectively and humanely.
Just on that, though, we talk about the transparency. We have to take you at your word on that. Reporters aren't able to get in there. Journalists aren't able to get in there. So we don't really have any confirmation that the conditions in these centres are up to the standards that are acceptable to the Australian public. So do you understand that allowing people in there to have a look so that we know that these conditions are up to standard would put people at ease?
James, let's remember that everyone in these centres is there because he or she has come illegally to Australia by boat. They have done something that they must have known was wrong. Now, we don't apologise for the fact that they're not 5-star or even 3-star hotels. Nevertheless, we are confident that we are well and truly discharging our humanitarian obligations. People are housed, they're clothed, they're fed, they're given medical attention, they're kept as safe as we can make it for them. But we want them to go back to the country from which they came. That's what we want.
Even if they are legitimate refugees?
Well, the vast majority of these people, as the former Foreign Minister Bob Carr said, are economic migrants. Let's remember that every single one of the recent arrivals has come to Australia through a series of other countries where they could easily have claimed asylum. They choose not to do that because they are seeking a migration outcome here in Australia. Now, I can absolutely understand why people living in a pretty tough place would want to come to a terrific country like Australia. We have an immigration program. We have a humanitarian and refugee program precisely because we do accept our obligations as an international citizen, but people have got to come the right way, not the wrong way. They've got to come in through the front door, not the back door. And my message to people, try to come in the back door, you will find it closed. You will find it closed. And my message to anyone tempted to get on a boat in Indonesia or any other country is you won't get to Australia.
Prime Minister, if I can ask you, is there any part of you that feels so desperately sorry for these poor refugees that are in that situation? Often this is not their first choice. Their first choice is to stay in their country, but they're fleeing.
Tash, they're all coming from countries where life is harder than it is in Australia. I accept that. I can accept the yearning, indeed I can cherish the yearning for a better life that beats in the hearts of every human being. I can accept that. But I have a responsibility to the citizens of Australia to keep our country secure, to keep our borders safe. And that's what I have to discharge. Now, we have as I said, one of the world's more generous refugee and humanitarian programs. That will continue. We will never fail to be a good international citizen, but we've got to keep our borders secure and we've got to keep our country safe.
Prime Minister, thank you for your time this morning. I know you just came down for a surf, but you've been pretty generous with your time here. I learnt to surf the other week with Cody Simpson out there. Natasha Belling is yet to learn. She's looking for an enthusiastic, well-abled and perhaps generous tutor.
I can boogie board.
Okay, that's a start.
Is that kind of the same as surfing?
No.
Could you give me some form of support?
If you have learnt to boogie board, you have at least begun to understand, if you like, the way waves work and the point in the wave where it's going to pick you up and take you forward. So, I mean, you're starting to get the hang of it.
Will you teach me how to surf?
Well, Tash, I suspect there are many better teachers than I am. You want a good coach, not a lousy coach. You want someone who knows more what they're doing than I do when it comes to the surf.
You have a finger on the pulse of the surf club. There are a lot of members who've been there for even longer than you have, 18 years, 30 years plus. Can you give us an insight on what they think of us taking over their surf club?
I think that...
No comment.
So far, at least, they're happy enough because come the weekend, the surf club is a surf club again. And look, this is a community facility, and why shouldn't it be utilised by people such as yourselves? Because in your own way, Tash and James, you are also providing a service to the community.
Oh, bless you. Yeah. Well, why wouldn't we showcase this extraordinary view and this great
Exactly.
I think to say I'm servicing the community is a bit of a stretch.
And look, we don't mind showcasing this beach. We really do quite like to showcase this beach. We don't want too many people to come at the wrong time, but at the right time, why not?
Thank you, Prime Minister, for joining us this morning. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.